Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Mental Health Awareness Fundraiser Star Trek Adventures. I almost forgot it was called, second edition. I am super excited to see what the crew of the USS Challenger has for us tonight. I'm not going to do too much else as far as talking before the game. I just want you to know that you can head over to the link in chat in order to buy benefits for the crew and the GM. So that should be super fun because you can buy a threat for Al to make even more problems for the crew. It's going to be a ton of fun. I'll see you after the show. I think that's it. I'm going to hand it over to Al, and I will see you afterwards as soon as I find the button. There it is. Al, off to you.
All right, thank you so much, Jeremy. I'm so excited that you decided to run this weekend. It's a great thing to do, and hopefully we can entertain you all while we make some money for charity. So, how's it going? I'm Al Spader. Some of you might recognize me as the GM from Star Trek Forefront, which has run on this channel in the past. And we're on a hiatus after the end of season 1. Now that season 2 is dropping, we're waiting for the second edition of Star Trek Adventures to fully release, and then hopefully we can embed that into Star Trek Forefront as well. So with me tonight, I have 4 amazing Star Trek enthusiasts, a couple of new Star Trek players, and a couple of people that have been working with Star Trek Adventures for quite a long time. So I'm going to pass the ball around and have everybody introduce themselves and tell them your name, what your character's name is, and anything else that you'd like to shill while you are sharing your information. So, Aaron, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Well, hi, I'm Aaron Pellier. I am a longtime freelance writer for Modifius working on Star Trek Adventures. I'm kind of your science and technology person. I am playing Lieutenant Commander Burke Venjaxa, who is a Tellarite. Big stretch
Awesome.
for me.
Engineer, right?
Engineer, yep.
Sweet. All right, Lauren.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I am brand new to this game and excited to check it out, but I am playing the Vulcan Dr. Varal. So, should be fun.
Awesome. Elle, introduce yourself and your character.
Hi, I'm also new to this game. I am playing Science Officer Lieutenant Zoe Hernandez. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. And last but not least, Troy.
Hey, I'm Troy Meckins. I am also a longtime freelance writer for Star Trek Adventures. I will be playing Commander Xanthus Thravik, who's the security chief, an Andorian, and a veteran, longtime veteran from the sound of it.
Awesome. Yeah, so we are going to be playing the adventure in the Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition Quick Start called The Celestial Algorithm. This mission and the rules that go along with it are completely free online. If you just look up Star Trek 2E Quick Start, you'll be able to find it on a couple of different sites. So if you like what you see tonight and you'd like to try it with your group, feel free to go check that out and download it because it's absolutely free. It's not the full rule set, but it's enough to get you going. So, all right. So we are going to start off. I'm going to kind of play the Commodore on the ship. Her name is Commodore Nella Zen, and so I will kind of be leading from that role. But we're going to let our players' characters do a lot of the decision making tonight, and hopefully we can survive the evening. So the USS Challenger was ordered to investigate a massive alien construct that emerged from a wormhole into a remote region of Federation space. Upon reaching the destination, we discovered a colossal machine far greater in scale than even our largest starbases. We initiated primary scans and friendship messages only to be pulled into the interior of the machine by a tractor beam. The beam deposited the Challenger into a massive chamber filled with mysterious alien technology. We were not harmed. There was no damage to the ship, and I see no evidence of hostile intent. However, I'm not sure how we're going to get out.
Mhm.
So, giant structure. Imagine it like a big hollow star base. And tractor beam captured you, pulled you in. The doors sealed behind you, and now you are in the inside of this giant machine. So we're going to start off right away with a task to see if you can figure out some more information. So we're going to do a scanning task, and our science officer is going to head up that task for us. So the way this works is you're going to look at your reason and your science. You're going to combine those scores together, and it's going to give you a number. You're going to roll 2d20 and try to roll at or below that number. This is a difficulty 0 task, so you will automatically succeed, but you might also be able to generate some momentum for moving forward.
Okay, so my reason is a 11 and science is 4, so it's a 15.
Yes, so you want to roll at or below that. And here's something that's interesting. Once you complete your roll, the ship actually helps you as well. So the ship is going to assist you with its sensors plus its science. So you're technically, like, you're rolling 2 dice, and then we'll have Troy roll the ship's dice and see if that can help you out as well.
The lowest roll I had was a 10.
Okay, what was your other roll?
A 17.
All right, so you got 1 success. So let's go ahead and roll for the challenger, Troy, and see if we can generate any more momentum than just 1.
Okay. Sensor science.
Sensors plus science.
Okay. I don't have the sheet up in front of me at the moment. Just my character sheet.
Oh,
I got it right
sensors
here.
plus science is 9 plus 3 for Challenger.
So 12.
Okay, so 12.
And remember, she has the 3. Her focus. She would automatically have a focus for that, right?
Yep.
At a 3. So if you roll a 3, 2, or 1, it's considered a crit.
Okay. That is a 12, so that is another success.
So 2 successes total. So because this was a difficulty 0 test, you're going to generate 2 momentum. Now, before I bank those for you, we're going to give a little bit of information, and then you can have a chance to purchase more information if you would like, using the momentum that you just gained. Okay? So, first things first. There is a strange field emanating from within this structure that it seems to have cut communications down to just within the ship. So you can communicate with people in the ship, but you can't communicate with anything outside the ship. And there's this high frequency transmission wave that is like echoing through the construct. So, 2 momentum, you could actually spend one of these and either A, ask me a question, or B, ask if I have any further information that you could learn from the scans. Basically, you're digging deeper into the information that you generated. So would you like to do either of those things?
So let me just go back over this. So we got that there's like a force field that's cut off communications to, and like limited it to just the ship. And then you said there was a high frequency transmission.
That's emanating from within the structure itself.
Okay. Is it in any type of language that we recognize?
So I'm gonna spend 1 momentum for you on that. It is not a. It is not. Well, okay. How about this? It is not a language per se, but when you run it through the communications array, it is just a set of numbers that just keep going on and on.
Can we get a readout of those numbers?
Yes, you can.
Does that cost momentum?
No, we'll just say that that's free. And as you start reading out from the moment you got in to the structure, you start doing the readout. It is the numbers for pi.
Okay.
Hmm.
So it's an intelligence test, or it's a way to try to make contact to see if we are actually intelligent. Or if we're just parasites living inside this starship.
The Commodore looks at you and says, so if it's testing us, what do we do?
Just broadcasting pi isn't exactly a question, is it?
No,
How is
It's
that
a
a test card?
reflex.
broadcasting pi is a way for it to see if we react in a way that we understand what it means. I would suggest turning the ship in a circle inside the starbase. Inside the space.
Any other ideas from the rest of you?
Is there any way that we can reflect that back to it?
Like broadcast the same signal back?
See if it responds to that?
You could try that.
I can think of a few ways to do that.
Commander, any thoughts?
I'm thinking the same thing. Broadcast it back. Possibly even add a couple of integers, to it to let it know that we understand it's a continual, continuing number.
Out of curiosity, is there anything circular that we can see that's part of the starbase? I'm concerned that if we just reflect it back at it, it won't indicate enough intelligence.
As you look on the view screen, it's all like a flat, almost polished metal surface within the room that you're in currently. So you don't see an actual circle anywhere in this particular place.
Well, if it's jamming communications, transmitting something back would probably not be the easiest thing. Reflecting the transmission back that's doable, but like you said, it might not be a good enough show of intelligence.
I mean, if we do need a circle, there is always the disk of our ship. I'm curious to see if reflecting back maybe the area of a circle to show that we know how to use pi would be a better indication of intelligence.
Potentially.
The Commodore is like, all right, very well. And then we can always fall back on spinning in circles if we need to. So how do we project it back then? You're suggesting that we do the diameter of our saucer?
Potentially, if that's the only circle that's available to us, that it might also, whatever this is, be able to observe.
And Venjaxa, do you have a way that you can transmit that even though communications are shut down?
Yeah, of course. Communications might be shut down, so that means radio frequencies are jammed, and that also means that the subspace frequencies are jammed, but that doesn't mean that visual light is jammed, because we can clearly see out the view screen, so we can flash our running lights.
Excellent. So you're going to flash the running lights to reveal a use of pi.
Yes.
Showing the diameter of your ship? Or no, showing the
Diameter
area
of the saucer. Well, the area of the saucer, I think that's
area of the saucer. Yeah, surface area of the saucer. The Commodore looks and says, all right, make it happen. What do we need to do? Program the lights? You do a program to do that, or do you need to do it manually?
Well, I'm sure I could find somebody to do it manually that's not too busy scrubbing the buzzards, but writing a piece of code would be more efficient.
Indeed. All right. Well, Commander, you have any experience writing computer code?
Yes, I do, but I also know that our science officer does. So we could work together.
Not
Very
to
well.
limit our teamwork here, but I mean, it is the diameter of our ship. Should we not have that on schematics or something?
Oh, we know the answer, yes, but it's getting the
Oh,
light
getting it out.
flash.
Yes.
Right. So, writing a program to transmit the surface area of the disk of your ship. This is going to be a difficulty 2. And let's see. We're going to call this a difficulty 2. We'll do it insight plus engineering. Difficulty 2. So, Venjaxa, I'm assuming that you'll take the lead on that.
Well, that's the question, because I can since Ellie hasn't played the game, there's a couple ways of actually doing this. Since her character Lieutenant Hernandez has a talent called computer expertise.
Ooh.
That while her insight plus engineering might be a total of 11, the first extra D20 that she buys on a task involving programming allows her to have that first dice for free. So basically, you would get 3 dice to roll immediately if you took the lead on that.
Right.
Okay.
On the other hand, Venjaxa, while he doesn't have that talent, he has an insight plus engineering of 14 and a focus of computers. So what that would mean is I would get 2 dice and then get a critical range of 1 through 5, which might be better. See how there's like trade-offs
Mhm.
to this? And then we can assist each other, which means that the other person gets to roll 1 dice to help perform the action and hopefully do better. So
If you were to assist me, because that would be 3 dice and then you would be rolling a 4th, would you still get the critical area?
yes,
Just the
on
one dice that he rolls.
Okay, but that still seems like a better
Mhm.
possibility.
Better use of resources.
Yes.
And it should probably balance out numbers wise.
Yeah, about that. I just wanted to make sure that I pointed out that there's 2 ways of coming at this, especially with our 2 characters'
Mhm.
talents and focuses.
So Lieutenant Hernandez is going to write the code that will be then relayed to the running lights, which you are going to ensure are fully operational.
Absolutely. I'll go down to the
That
port
sound right?
side and make sure
All right.
that the lights are running.
All right, so Lieutenant Hernandez, you're going to roll 3 dice. And again, this is insight plus engineering. So what is that for you?
That is an 11.
11. Okay, so this is difficulty 2. We need 2 successes total. Now, your first dice is free, so you're rolling 3 dice total. You could potentially buy more dice. If you wanted to go up to 4 dice, it would cost you 2 momentum. You only have 1 momentum in the pool, though. So that would
Right,
mean you
so
would have to
you
spend
get
that and give me a threat in order to buy a
Okay.
4th die.
All right, well, let's just roll and see how we do.
Yeah, because you'll have an assist. What do you got?
Okay, that was a 7 on the first one. 9. I chose the dice that always roll the worst for me. So,
There you go.
and a 15. So,
Nice.
first
We got 2
2
so far.
Yeah.
And now the implementation by Venjaxa.
Okay.
One
That
die.
would be a 3, but I have a focus, so that's an extra 2.
That's 4 successes total. Right? So you write the program the lights flash in an order. Okay. Difficulty 2. You generated 2 momentum on that roll. All right.
Okay.
And as soon as you finish the number of the diameter, the surface area of your disc, something very strange happens. The walls around you start rapidly, like, moving away from you in all directions at once, accelerating very, very quickly, making this room just grow bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's
Well, we certainly
interesting.
got their attention.
That is
Commodore, I don't like this. Are they
No,
making
what's
room for other ships?
Yeah. What? Like, will we never be like? Is space growing? Is that a thing? Can that happen?
I don't know if space is growing, but I know this space that we're in is. And it's a little unnerving because it gives more than enough room for other ships to come in. I recommend yellow alert. At least get the shields up.
Yellow alert. Yes, shields up for sure. And the lights dim a little bit for you. Then Jaxa, give me an insight plus engineering difficulty 1.
Insight plus engineering, difficulty 1. So that'll be a 9 plus 5 is 14, rolling 2 dice. 1 success, 1 complication.
Ooh, all right. So here's the success.
Complication means I basically got a critical failure on one of the dice.
So I can either do something fun or I can add to my threat pool, et cetera, et cetera. We'll get to that in just a moment. It actually, to you, looks similar to the effect of an expanding warp field that is pushing these walls away from you.
I'll report that to the bridge. Commodore, this looks like an expanding warp field. It really resembles the test field back at the Academy rather than a starship's field. It's more symmetrical.
Okay, what does that mean? Is it trying to fly away from us in all directions at once? Is it exploding?
No, it's very well. If it was exploding and we were inside of a warp field, there would be bigger problems than just being stuck here. What this more looks like is if the warp field is bending space back into us entirely. That's probably why we're having communications interference, that everything is getting reflected back, and that the outer hull of the ship is acting like a Faraday cage. So that's why we're able to communicate inside.
Is there a way to cancel this out?
I'd have to have some time on that, but anything's possible.
How much time, Jaxa?
Well, without knowing the exact way that they're generating this warp field, let's say between a duty shift and the rest of our lives.
Right. How can we do it in 5 minutes?
How can we do this in 5 minutes? I go down to main engineering from the primary hull, and I see how the field's interacting with the warp coils, and see if we can interfere with the warp field's generation. If I can't do that
like
in
the way
5 minutes, then I don't think I can do anything in the next few hours.
All right, get your teams down there, and let me know how it goes.
Roger.
So you're going down there, and people are just checking their stations, trying to figure out like what the heck is actually going on here. as you're looking at the warp coils, you're pretty sure if you create an inverted warp field, you might be able to cancel this out.
Okay. So to invert a warp field, we're going to have to run the power back through the coils in reverse. Which means I'm going to need to send a couple people up into the nacelles to flip the big old knife switches that are there. Knife switches. So who's on report? Keith?
Lewis here, sir.
Get up the nacelle. Go up the port nacelle. I need you to flip the switch.
Okay, sir. 2 minutes. It's climbing up the ladder. So this is effectively inverting the warp field is a difficulty 3, appropriately inverting the warp field is a difficulty 3. We'll call this one reason plus engineering.
Okay, so
and you get an assist from the ship's engines.
So difficulty 3. We do have some momentum built up. So
Yeah, three momentum. Yep.
I'll buy 2 dice.
Okay. That's all 3 momentum gone. So when you buy your first dice, it typically costs 1 momentum. When you buy your second dice, it costs 2 momentum. And when you buy your third dice, it costs 3 momentum.
Since it's difficulty 3, I kind of wanted to get all the dice that I possibly could. I also have a focus of warp drive, which seems to be able to be applicable for this.
Absolutely.
Reason plus engineering would be 16, and I have a crit range of 5. So that is, I wish I could show you, I have 3 crits and one fail. So 6 successes.
So
I'm
6
not
successes.
joking, that's pretty amazing. And
So
then
you're going to generate... Oh, and you got roll for the ship as well.
Yeah. Let me go up to my ship. Okay, so what do we have? Engines and engineering?
Probably science, because you're, the warp field is a scientific application.
So engines plus science is 11 with a crit range of 3. That is 1.
So 6 successes total? No,
that would
7
be
successes.
7 minus the difficulty of 3, so that would be 4 total momentum generated.
Awesome. So 4 momentum go into the pool, and all of a sudden, you guys out at the front view screen, you see like the walls of this room come racing back at you, and it looks fairly terrifying. And as it locks into place around you, you look, and there is it looks like there's almost like an opening that you could fly the ship through, but there's a large asteroid in front of it. And the Commodore says, "Is that a way out?"
If we remove the asteroid, potentially.
Says, "All right. Well, how do we do that?"
Phasers would do it. I mean, I could use the ship's phasers, possibly try to cut it in half rather than blowing it up. I mean, photon torpedo would do that nicely.
Probably not best to not do that in here, I would think.
I heartily agree, Commodore.
I appreciate
that would be an
your,
absolute last resort.
I'll be quiet for a little bit because I figure Fanjaxa is probably trying to put the warp drive back into its normal operating state.
Right. So, phasers, the easiest way to do. I mean, it's a pretty big asteroid. It'll probably take a while.
Possibly. I'm wondering if science could give me a scan of that asteroid. There may be a weak point that we can hit, burn through, and possibly split it.
Is it how? So it's sitting right in front of it, because I'm also thinking potentially, depending on if we hit it in a certain spot, could we also generate enough momentum to move it out of the way and not have to burn as much?
Do you want to You want to get a scan of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do a difficulty 0, reason plus science task. To get a scan of what's going on over there.
That is a 15. I don't think I have anything else that applies to this.
Probably not.
And Vansis is going to go over by her station and kind of look over her shoulder a little bit because he wants to know, mass, things like that. Maybe it's something the tractor beam could do.
You have geology.
I do. I also would this count with testing a theory?
Let's see. Let's read testing a theory.
Task using engineering or science, the first bonus d20 she purchases is free, so long as she succeeds at the previous task covering the same scientific or technological field. Earlier in the same adventure.
So this is something different that you haven't encountered yet, so it doesn't apply. Okay. But if you succeed at this, anything else that has to do with what's going on here, you will get a free d20 on.
Okay. But I do have. Would this count with geology yet?
Sure. You're getting a scan of a giant rock. I would say geology probably works.
Okay. So that's under 15. That's a 2. And a 13. 2 and a 13.
That's 3 successes. Somebody want to roll for the ship? Over under?
What are we rolling?
I got it.
Sensors and science. Oh, okay.
Yep, it's one success. I got a 4.
So you got 4 successes total. So you're generating 4 momentum, but your momentum pool maxes out at 6. So you can only add 2 momentum to the pool, but you have 2 more floating, so you could find out a couple of bits of information after I tell you what I'm about to tell you. Okay? You have found a way where there is a fracture in part of the asteroid that if you were to expand that fracture, it would send the asteroid into 2 directions, basically peeling it away from this exit. You have 2 momentum. Would you like to ask any further questions or learn any further information?
I would, but they're her momentum.
Oh, I don't have any questions, so go right ahead.
Okay. Would the tractor beam be strong enough to basically wedge the 2? Or, make the split larger and start forcing them apart?
No, but it could pull the thing away if needed.
Okay.
So that's your first one. You have 1 more floating. You want me to give you another bit of information, or do you have another question you want to ask?
Go ahead and hit us with it.
So, as you're scanning this rock, you do notice that just behind the rock, on either side of the opening that it's blocking, there are 2 tractor beams that are holding this asteroid in place.
Mm. Because this has been kind of like a group information gathering, would I be able to use my studious talent, which if we spend a momentum to obtain information, I can ask 1 additional question? Or okay. Would we potentially be able to shoot the generators that are making these tractor beams, and to get them to stop holding the asteroid in place?
You would not be able to get a direct shot on the tractor beam generators. You could try to disrupt them, though.
Okay.
In some way. In fact,
are the tractor beam generators directional?
What's that?
Are the tractor beam generators that are holding the rock in place directional?
They have a pivot on them, so they can move.
Okay.
Xanthus, you think that if you wanted to deactivate those, you would probably have to take a shuttle over there and go extra vehicular if you need to.
Yep. Because
You
I
would
wouldn't be able to
deactivate them if you see them, but
and I'm a pretty good pilot, so just Commodore, let me get out there, see what I can do.
All right. Yeah. Take the Copernicus.
Aye, sir.
Are you going to bring anybody with you? Like,
I think that I will bring our science officer with me.
All right.
Lieutenant, how are you in EV suits?
Well, we survive, adapt, overcome, all that.
All right. So as you get in the shuttle and start flying over there, we're gonna kind of just jump right to it. You do notice that one of the nacelles, the lights flash just a little bit. You think that maybe Venjaxa is starting to get the warp core running correctly again, and the button has been pressed back. You fly over, not difficult at all. You can basically set yourself next to the transmitter of the beam, and now you have to get out of the shuttle. So getting out of the shuttle and staying in control is a difficulty 1. We'll call it fitness plus security. So to get over to the transmitter without like bumbling around or tripping and falling out into the expanse in an EV suit. So difficulty 1. So I'm gonna have. Oh, you guys said what order do you want to go in?
Ladies first.
All right, so I'm rolling 2. I don't have anything, I don't think. Okay, so fitness, security, that is a 12, so I'm rolling 2 under a 12, right?
Yep, 12 or under, yeah.
Okay, 1 success. I got a 5 and a 16.
All right. So you get out of the shuttle, you get over. There's a little bit of gravity here, so you're like attracted towards the wall where the beam generator is. And as you like get there and your feet touch down, the boulder or the giant asteroid like starts shifting a little bit and kind of hits the shuttle a bit as the commander is making his way out. So this is going to increase the complication range of this next task by 1. So a 19 or 20 would provide a complication. Still difficulty 1 though to get out.
Okay.
Spend 2 threat to do that.
Will survival be an applicable focus on this one?
I would say you're trying to dodge a tumbling asteroid that may or may not be hurtling towards you on purpose. I would say that's applicable.
Yeah. Alrighty. That is a single success, but I'll take
19
it.
and 20, huh? All right, okay. So you're able to you actually use are able to push off from the asteroid to get over to the generator. And yeah, what do you want to do to deal with this thing? Do you want to mechanically shut it down? Do you want to destroy it? What do you want to do?
I'm concerned if we completely disable the tractor beam on the other side is going to basically shove it into us. I'd rather try to do, manipulation where we can move it aside enough, to where the ship can slip through, but not crush us in the, in the meantime.
You want to try to use this generator and increase just the strength of this one to try to push it that way. All right.
Exactly.
Awesome. I love it. So we'll say this is trying to calibrate this force correctly is going to be a security task, but writing the code to go in it is going to be an engineering task. Okay. So this is going to be two tasks that have to happen. So first, this is a difficulty 2, security plus. I'm going to say daring plus security test for you. Difficulty 2 to get it calibrated correctly.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I think we've got
Like
full
6
momentum pool.
right now.
So
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buy 2
All right. You roll
just to
4
be
dice,
safe.
difficulty 2.
Alrighty. So we've got that's 1, 2, 3. Let's see how we do on our 4th here. 4.
4 successes total. You're going to generate
Mhm.
2 momentum back.
Awesome.
All right. So you think that you've calculated the right amount of force that you need to adjust for, in the graviton release, and now our scientist needs to input those numbers and execute function essentially. So this is difficulty 2, insight plus engineering.
Okay.
It is computer.
And this is
Mhm.
computer, so I have a 3rd dice right off the bat.
Correct.
That's
Can
really
we-
cool.
Oh
Can
man.
we buy dice after we roll, or does it have to be before?
Has to be before.
To just make back 2, so I guess I'll
Yep.
I'll go 4 as well. So I'll buy 1.
Yep. So because you get your free one counts as the first purchase technically. So the next one will cost you 2 momentum to add to your pool.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. You
Okay.
can roll. You can
Definitely worth
roll
it.
your 4 dice.
Oh no, guys, it's not going well. Oh, it's really not going well.
Oh no!
So I didn't roll below a 16.
Did you roll any 19s or 20s?
I rolled a 19.
All right. So
Doing
this
great.
is where we're going to learn a couple of things. The first thing, it's called succeeding at a cost. And the second thing is what a complications do. So succeeding at a cost allows you to successfully do what you set out to do. However, there is a complication attached to that.
Okay.
And when you roll a 19 or 20 right now in the scene, you also generate a complication. So you're going to succeed at getting the code in, but 2 complications are going to come this way, right? So I'm going to combine those into a single thing because you did successfully push the asteroid away from the entrance. However, it is now hurtling directly at the ship. And it crashes that nacelle whose lights flashed when you flew out. You see the lights flash a little bit again as this asteroid kind of like scrapes on the shielding next to the nacelle and then ricochets off. Then Jaxa, you'll know that there is a breach an engineering breach at this time.
Oh no. Bridge, we have a problem down here. It looks like I have a hull breach from strain on the shields and on the starboard nacelle.
Yes. I'll need you to get that under get that taken care of. It looks like we've got an exit out of here now, though.
Excellent. Well, we don't need the warp drive to get out of here. All we need is impulse.
Right. So as you start looking into that breach, you two are able to get back into the shuttle and make your way back to the ship. And as you make your way back up to the bridge, Commodore is looking directly at the commander and is like, "Really?
I never knew I could throw a curveball, Commodore. Who knew? A little too much English on the ball. Is that the right term?
Yes. I believe that you would reference ice hockey probably because we know how much the Andorians love it.
Oh no, I figured, Earthers like their baseball, so I'm trying to, be more open-minded.
Uh,
I'm
so
old, but I'm not that old.
so while Venjaxa is figuring out what the heck is what the breach happened over there, I don't know if it was impact breach or something. We're gonna start going into that tunnel that you kind of exposed, and it's tight, it's narrow, but you're in it for just a minute or so, and it seems like it goes on for a pretty long time, and then it opens up into another chamber. And what you see there is something that is initially beautiful, and then it starts to feel a little bit sad. As you see a Gormagander floating there in the middle, which is a space whale. That's almost the size of the ship, and it's kind of floating there in the middle. And then you're like, "Oh, look, these things are so rare." And as you see that, it's not really like moving around very much. And then a tiny baby Gormagander flies out from behind the presumed mother. They both look like they are quite lethargic.
But they're both alive.
They are both alive.
Can we get scans on those? See if there's anything we can.
Doctor, give me an insight plus medicine scan. Difficulty 0.
Okay.
Actually, reason plus medicine. Let's do reason plus medicine.
Okay. Oh no, my best scores. Alright, so that reason is 12, medicine is. You said, yeah, reason and medicine. So that puts me at 17.
Yes.
And then how many dice am I rolling for? I know
Just
it's
2 right now, unless you want
Just
to buy
2?
any
Okay.
more.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll be. Yeah, that's a 6 and a 10. I'm good.
Awesome. So 2 successes. All right. So those 2 momentum generate. We're going to leave those here for just a second while we resolve what you find. So, the ship's sensors detect that both Gormaganders have a viral infection. Would you like to bank this momentum, or would you like to keep asking more?
Okay, viral infection. Is it possible to take a more detailed scan from this distance, or would you need to get closer?
So that's so when we say obtain information, is a thing that you can spend momentum to do. That's effectively doing a deeper, more detailed scan. So you could spend 1 momentum to do that if you like.
Yes. Let's see how much information we can get from this far away.
All right. So, it looks like there's a viral infection in one of the organs within that processes alpha particles, which is what they eat, that are carried by solar winds. Like comparatively speaking, it's like the flu, essentially. So that's the next deeper thing that you can have. You still have 1 momentum floating. We can put it in the bank, or you can ask another question or get more information if you'd like.
Right. How much momentum do we have in the bank currently?
3.
3.
This would make it 4 if you put it in there.
I want to ask the general question, why are they here? But I don't know if that's... I'll spend that last momentum that I gained to try and figure out why exactly they're here.
So you're starting to piece together that, like, if what has been happening so far is a test, and it seems as though there's been a test for each person on the bridge so far, that maybe this is your test.
Okay. Curious to see what's running this station, given it has specialized tests for each of us, but if this is mine, let's get to it.
So, What are you going to do to try to help these Gormaganders?
Let's see. Start with how much, like, trying to rack my brain for how much I know about Gormagander illnesses, and if there's, because they're pretty rare, so I don't imagine there's a lot of information on how to treat their illnesses. But quick look through the ship computers to see if anyone has encountered anything like this before.
So no illnesses, but you do have the full genome of these animals. You've got lots of information about these animals in the computer system. You know how antiviral medications work for many species with similar issues. You think that you could probably synthesize something that would at least alleviate some of the virus. If you wanted to try to do that down in the sick bay.
I think I would.
All right. So this is a difficulty 2. Again, reason plus medicine task in order to just synthesize a medicine that might work in curing these Gormaganders.
Okay. And would focuses play in this at all? Because I have focuses in both genetics and infectious disease.
So infectious disease will absolutely come into play here. Okay.
Cool.
So what that means is when you roll your d20s, you get a critical success on a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Excellent. All right.
So you can just roll 2 dice, or do you want to buy any more?
I might buy a momentum.
Okay. So 3 dice.
3 dice. Let's
Try to roll
go.
what, 17 or lower?
Yeah, reason to medicine again? Yeah. Dang. Good thing that's really high, because this is Dungeons and Dragons I'd be celebrating. That's about 10, 12, and 15, so all successes, but no criticals.
Okay, so 3 successes. That does generate 1 momentum back.
Cool. Just bank that
And
one.
you are pretty sure that you've got a cure that would work, and enough of it to do the parent and the child.
Okay.
And then now that you have this, how are we going to get it into them?
I guess I can't really hypospray a space whale, can I?
You can, just on a larger scale.
Yeah, true.
Not from this distance.
Yeah. Sorry, I just saw someone in chat say photon hypospray.
50 megaton hypospray.
That is
Right?
an option.
We can beam it into them.
That, or I was even wondering if the deflector could make enough pressure, just like a hypospray.
I'd be terrified to use a
Yeah.
main deflector on a living creature. It would probably tear them apart.
I think if we can
It's possible.
use the transporters and beam the medication into them, that might be our best bet. Unless someone
I'm a
wants to
security officer,
fly a
not a
shuttle out.
doctor.
Well, good thing I'm here.
All right. So yeah, you want to try transporting this into two living organisms.
So I could tell you that, or flying a shuttle out to them.
I mean, either are options.
What a group consensus: shuttle out to hypospray the whales, or beam it in.
Do we know how aggressive they are? I mean, I know that they seem pretty lethargic, but they are quite a bit larger than us. Might go
Not very
poorly.
aggressive. They are docile creatures for the most part.
And you said they eat alpha particles?
Yes.
Okay. How about another option would be to fill the shuttle bay with helium, which are alpha particles, and have it slowly leak out the open bay doors. So they might come towards the shuttle bay and then let loose the medicine from the shuttle bay as well into the food stream.
Like putting a pill in peanut butter.
Right.
That might actually be our best bet. I would rather not beam things into living creatures. But
It can be
Only on
done.
weekends. Yeah.
Just very challenging. What do we think? The Commodore says, "I like the beaming plan, but if you can convince me to flood our shuttle bay, I suppose we can make that happen. And if that doesn't work, we could always beam it in after."
Yeah.
Right?
yep, I think that seems like a solid plan.
So we're turning the shuttle bay into an IV drip that will. Okay.
So all we have to do is crack the clamshell a little bit on the back of the shuttle bay, and it'll spray helium out. We have more than enough helium on board the ship because we'd be using it for cooling, and it's also a byproduct of the fusion reactors in the impulse drive. So we have spare helium. That's not going to be a problem.
Yeah. I like it. Okay, let's do that. If it doesn't work and they don't come to the bay, then we can still transport it in anyways. Right?
Commodore, I might be able to lure them in a little closer. If I
How?
do something similar with the shuttlecraft and have helium basically leaking out of the back, and I draw them in towards the ship.
We could also, and this is just me spitballing, we could also use the shuttle bay's tractor beam to direct the helium stream towards them as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think anything to increase the accuracy in this would be appreciated.
My only concern, and the Commodore speaks up, my only concern would be that when I'm feeling sick to my stomach, I don't necessarily even want to look at food.
A valid point.
But like I said, we can try it, see if it works. And then transport in after if need be.
Let's try the least invasive option first.
Yeah.
Agreed, Doctor. All right. So I'm trying to think what kind of check this is going to be. You know what? I'm going to say that you flood the shuttle bay with helium, which is easy to do. You obviously get everybody out of there and crack the clamshell and start basically releasing a vaporized form of the medicine out as the Gormaganders start to get closer. And they do. They get closer, and it's like they're trying to consume the alpha particles, and they got these weird flaps that open up on the side of their heads that absorb them. It does seem as though the medication has been absorbed by both of them. And as you wait a few more minutes, you can see that they're definitely starting to look a lot more lively. And eventually they're just like spinning around and, nuzzling with each other. And then they see the exit behind you and they try going in that direction.
Okay.
All right.
Success.
And as they go out the tunnel behind you, it's almost like the entire wall behind you shifts. And now there's no more exit, but another wall in front of you shifts, and now there's another pathway that you can follow.
Why do I feel like a rat in a maze?
That's exactly what we are.
We're being tested by something far more intelligent than we are, it seems.
More
I
powerful.
argue with that, but
And as you start heading into that other pathway, you do see, again, it opens up to another chamber. And this time there's something very interesting in there on the view screen.
Ooh,
Oh, he's getting
a
up.
prop.
There's visual reference here.
Let's go.
something that looks like this.
Oh,
Okay,
Oh,
so
boy.
it's I see. I know what that is, but that's Aaron knows what that is. So
I would say that you probably know what that is,
okay.
and it is exactly what you see. That is a small Orion trade vessel, about scale 2.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Is back there. Um,
An old
or is
Corvette.
in the room.
Mhm.
And it is not moving. By the looks of it, you don't see any lights on its exterior hull currently.
The
Can I
spinnies
use
are moving
tactical to
and
scan it?
So yeah, so they're not spinning. There's no lights, nothing. So yes, you want to do a tactical scan. So
Yes.
go ahead and give me a reason plus security. We'll call this difficulty 0.
All right. Oh, that is a single success, but that'll work.
All right. So let's see. This thing is currently powerless, or
Ah,
or probably on reserve power, I should say.
okay.
Is there anything further that you would like to learn, or any other questions that you have?
Life science.
Life signs 5, 4 unconscious.
They're dying. Commodore, we
How do
need to transfer some power over to that ship. Possibly get their life support at least boosted up a little bit, because otherwise they're going to slowly suffocate.
Indeed. How do you propose we do that?
we beam
A
them
couple of
over
different
here?
options. Mhm. And we can beam them here if need be. They're not running with shields up. We could take the shuttle. We can go over there, and bring a generator of some kind, hook it up to their life support systems, and go from there.
Would you like to learn any more information? You've got 3 momentum that you could spend.
Mm.
Yeah,
I can
we'll
give you
spend one
information.
more.
Or you can ask. One more. Uh,
Mhm.
There is currently a major radiation leak on board the ship.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. There's a problem. Yeah,
Major.
I think we're going to need to get them out of there.
We beam them aboard and quarantine the area.
I can set up a quarantine and sick bay. We can beam them directly there.
Is there any way we can establish communications, let them know what's going on? Especially if there's one person not unconscious. Make sure they don't
Communications
freak
outside the
out.
ship are still blocked.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Do Orions have a nonverbal code, kind of like Morse code?
Probably.
Because I'm wondering, like with ships in modern Earth, you have, your signal lamps and things like that you can communicate back and forth, pretty much a universal language. I'm wondering if a starship could do the same thing.
Oh, one other little bit of information that I wanted to give you is where the life signs are.
Mhm.
4 are on the bridge. Those are the ones that are unconscious. And the one that is not unconscious is in engineering.
Oh boy. Yep. And I'm presuming that's where the radiation signature is the strongest.
Yes.
Are they all Orion life signs?
Yes.
We lock onto them.
The radiation leak is making finding a lock very, very challenging.
Let me get to the transporter room, and I can see what I can do.
Commodore, I'm wondering if maybe if we approach this two separate ways. While he's doing that, I can get the shuttlecraft out there and I can start to board. If push comes to shove, I can get in there, I can get them on the shuttle, and we can get out of there.
Indeed. If there's a problem with their warp core, that could be an issue. And Jaxa, could you take care of that?
I could, but I want to make sure to get them off, and then I can bring over a engineering team to do damage control.
Very well. Doctor, what do you have? You get radiation meds to everyone, and bring extra on the shuttle. If people are passing out over there, they're probably running low or out altogether.
Mhm. Will do.
I would recommend Triox as well if they're running low on oxygen.
Yes. All right. So I'm gonna have Ben Jaxa stay behind, and everybody else go on the shuttle. You all do that?
Yeah.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Yep.
The reason why I said Van Jackson can go to the transporter room is that he has the transporter chief talent.
Oh, that's awesome.
He can
Oh,
do,
there we go.
he can do crazy things with the transporter, which, is a terrifying device as is. So it makes sense that a Tellarite's going to be grumpy with it.
What is that? What does
Oh,
that
yeah.
talent say?
Ben Jackson is extremely well versed in the operation of transporter systems and can often get them to function in extreme circumstances or to achieve outcomes that few others could manage. Such efforts are never without risk, though, given the delicacy of the technology. Don't want to be turned inside out. When he attempts a task to use, repair, or modify a transporter, he may add 2 threat to reduce the difficulty of the task by 2 to a minimum of 0.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So are you looking to try to transport all 5? What's your end goal here?
It would be to transport them all directly to quarantine in the sick bay that was set up.
Okay.
So with the radiation, I assumed that the transporter would already have a difficulty with that, because we already know that transporters have difficulty with ion storms, etc., etc.
Right.
And radiation is going to be ionizing atoms and molecules. So, yeah, I figure it would be a difficult situation. I would have to modify the transporter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would
Yeah,
be to transport them.
So with the reduced difficulty, because you're also going site to site without using any pads, which also increases the difficulty.
Mhm.
But with being the transporter chief, it would lower the difficulty from 5 down to 3.
Okay. I have a focus of
And-
transporters.
And does a Constitution's transporter pad, can it do 5?
Yeah, I could do 6.
It can do 6. Okay.
I have to spend 2 threat, but it immediately reduces it to 3.
Worth
Is
it.
that okay, Al?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm for it.
Okay,
Take some
so
more threat.
how many momentum do we have as well?
You've got 2 momentum.
Ooh, well, I'm gonna have to buy 1. Since it's still a 3 difficulty. So I'm rolling 3 dice. What's the attribute department?
Reason plus engineering.
Reason plus engineering is a 16 with a crit range of 5 and a complication range of 19 still.
Oh yeah.
Two crits, 1 success.
So 5 total.
Nice.
Yeah, 3 of 4 and
Nice.
7.
All right.
Great.
Nice.
I'm getting lucky.
Oh,
I wish I could roll this well in our game. Our other game.
Isn't that just how it goes?
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend 4 threat to say that whoever is in engineering and 1 person in the on the bridge do not make it through.
They're left
The-
behind.
They're left behind. So you're able to get 3 of them right to sick bay in quarantine.
Okay. I report that Commodore, we've got 3. I'm sorry, the other 2 don't have enough absorbed radiation in their thyroids that I could lock onto them.
Well,
Oh my
very well.
God.
Thank you for getting what you could, Lieutenant Commander.
Commodore, we're ready to launch if we need to.
What's that?
We're ready to launch if we need to.
Oh yeah, I assume that you were launching as that was happening,
Mhm.
just to cover both bases.
Okay.
So you get over there. There is not a shuttle bay. It is a small enough ship that you actually have to dock alongside it, which is easy enough
Okay.
to do.
Mhm.
You've taken your own radiation meds, I presume, and you have a
Mhm.
battery with
Oh,
you.
yeah.
And you open up into a main hallway. You do know that engineering is in the rear of the ship, and the other people were on the bridge, which is in the front of the ship. So who's going where?
Doctor,
There's. Let's
I
get to
think
the
it would be
unconscious.
wise for you to take the bridge.
Yes,
Yeah.
unconscious first.
They wouldn't actually know that there's anybody left over there because there's no communication outside of the ship.
You're right. You're right. You
But
can't
we
even
do
let
know
them
that
know that.
everyone unconscious, or
Well,
Oh,
we
wait,
know
no,
where they
you-
were.
Yeah. Well, it depends on when you left the ship and when I
yeah,
came.
we
and I
at least
would
know that
assume-
the unconscious people were on the bridge. We don't know if it was successful or not.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I would still argue that getting there, because if everyone got out, then hitting the bridge is not that much of an issue. We can just meet back.
Yeah.
However, if there are people, those are the ones who need the most help.
Yeah. And doctor's not going to do much in engineering, so.
And,
Yeah.
tricorder scan, once we get on board, easily tell us who's where, if there's anybody left.
Yes. So your tricorders are saying that there is still one person in engineering and one person on the bridge. They got a few of them off and into the sick bay or the med bay, which is good. So let's start with you all heading to the bridge. You get there. There is only one person remaining. They have passed out. They have a little bit of radiation burns on their face and on their arm. They basically have an injury. So, in order to fix this and to get them like ready to move on their own again, is going to be a difficulty 2 reason plus medicine task.
Okay. Cool. And then, does my focus on emergency medicine factor into this?
I would say this is emergency. Yes.
Cool. Remind me, the focus does that add another die, or is it?
It improves your crit range
Right. Thank
up
you.
to whatever your department score is.
All right. Woo! That's at 1 and a 5, so double crit.
So 4 successes. All right.
Nice.
You generate 3 momentum, and after a moment of 2 of getting some of that medication injected in them, they kind of they come to a little bit, and they're very scared at first, trying to push themselves away from you.
So I have my bedside manner talent. So if I succeed at a medicine task to heal an injury, I may immediately remove a negative trait from the patient. Is that something I can use in this situation?
Remove what from a patient?
Remove a negative trait from a patient.
So scared, yes. Let's say you remove the scared of you trait from them.
Okay.
And they're kind of like, thank you. Where's the rest of the crew?
I believe we've beamed the other 2 that were on the bridge with you on board our ship and are now headed for engineering. What happened here?
Where's Captain Cathix?
If they were on the bridge, they're now on our ship. They are safe.
She went to go fix the reactor.
Then we are on our way to her. It'll
We
be
got-
all right.
Mhm.
we got brought in here. We tried to blast our way out. And then we had a reactor leak. We weren't able to contain it. Thank you.
All right. Of course. Stay here. We'll come back and bring you to our ship.
And Lieutenant Commander, you start heading to the back
Yep.
of the ship where engineering is. And
I'd also
see-
probably relay information if our communicators are working, relay that information to everybody else.
again, it'll work within the ship with each other, but not
Okay.
outside the ship.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Because I'm wondering if maybe we could, I could have her get the one to the shuttle, and if I need her help, I can call her. But otherwise, we're just that much more ready to get out of here if we need to.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we would have established meet back there so we can get out. We don't have to wait any longer
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
before we broke up.
So as you get back there, Commander, you do see an Orion woman in a leather jacket, with red hair, just like furiously going back and forth from one part of the engine room to the other part of the engine room, spinning knobs, doing all sorts of stuff, trying to figure out what is going on. Radiation levels here are very high. You do see a med kit open up on the floor, with stuff like strewn all over the place.
Okay. Being tactical, do I know, Orion rank insignia? Do they have any kind of a marking on them that tells me who they are?
There is no rank insignia on this person at all.
Okay.
I would assume there's some type of free trader or something.
Right. The Ravik is going to identify himself, right away. That way it doesn't look like he's sneaking up on her or anything. And just, my name is Commander Thravik. I'm here from the Starship Challenger Starfleet. We're here to get you out of here before the radiation gets you. We've already got most of your crew off.
So as you start talking, she finally hears you over the thrum of the equipment down there, and you kind of startle her a little bit, and she turns around and she draws her weapon on you. And
I wouldn't do
where
that.
we're gonna take our little bit of a bio break here. Take 5 minutes to go refresh our beverages, to take care of our needs, and then we will come back in 5. Jeremy, you got that covered?
All right.
Thanks, buddy. All right, and we're back for that awesome cliffhanger, where our commander here found the up and running captain of this Orion ship, and she pulled probably a disruptor on him. So we're gonna start off there, and she looks at you and says, "The Federation. What type of Federation trick is this?"
The kind of trick to where if you come with me, you live. If you stay here, you die.
Is that a threat?
Pretty straightforward. No? Reality.
We had no idea that you had this type of tech available to you. But now
We
4
don't.
of my crew might be dead.
No. 3 of your crew are already on our ship. We beamed them out. We couldn't beam you out because of the radiation.
Right. We're going to make this an opposed presence plus command task.
Oh boy.
You are trying to de-escalate her, so I will be reactive and you will be active.
Mhm.
So the way this works is we're each going to roll dice, and the reactive player says what they're going to do first, and they set the difficulty for the active player, essentially. So I'm going to give ethics. I'm going to buy 1 dice with that threat that was purchased with a donation. And so I'm going to be rolling 3 dice on this to try to see if I'm resisting your presence.
I'm going to buy. We got how much momentum? 3?
4 momentum
4.
in the pool
Okay.
currently.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and buy a die with momentum and 1 with threat because I want to activate my species ability, which is
Okay.
intense.
What's
If I
that do?
purchase 1 or more d20s by adding to threat, I generate 1 bonus momentum for each d20 purchased. So it's an
Wow.
automatic momentum right from the get-go.
Awesome. All right. Which is great on an opposed task, by the way. All right. So I am going to set the difficulty of this task at 2.
Not exactly the commander's strong suit here. Oh boy. Yep. Nope.
Let's go.
That's a real nope. Not 1.
Do pastimes have any play in this at all?
What now?
The pastimes?
So pastimes are just like focuses. They're just
Okay.
non-academic typically.
So if I had a pastime in galactic politics, would I be able to aid the situation at all?
I will let you roll an assist die on this. Like, I'll let you roll 1 dice, presence plus command.
Presence plus command.
Can't possibly hurt my roll any.
I don't know. I have rolled a 19, so uh, 7.
So that's 1 success, and you got 1, Troy.
No, I have an extra
you-
momentum, but so it basically would be 2 momentum.
So that extra momentum is a success in an opposed task. So you
Okay.
met her thing, and like shaking her hands, she puts her weapon down,
Nice.
and is like, so this structure isn't yours.
No,
We're just
we
strapped here.
couldn't even begin to make something like this.
And did it attack you as well?
It pulled us in.
Well, it did much worse to us. All right. So you're both here. You're gonna help me fix my ship.
We're going to get you off the ship, and then we're going to try to fix it.
She like pauses, like hesitates at that.
Did we bring the radiation medicine for her with us?
The doctor has it. Yeah.
I'd imagine she probably gave me a hypo of it.
I was gonna say if we
Right.
split, I definitely would have given them some.
Yeah. So, and like do you offer her the hypo spray?
Rabbit goes, okay, if you're going to stay, I've got a hypo here that will keep the radiation at bay in your body. And he looks back at our science officer and says, get the others out of here. We're going to see what we can do with this, and hopefully the damn thing doesn't blow up on us.
I don't feel it. I don't know if leaving you guys is the best option right now.
It's the only option.
You are my superior officer. So,
I am.
okay.
Are you making that an order? Commander?
Ooh.
And that's what he says is, I can order you to do this. I'd rather not.
Is there anything I can do here to help before I leave?
Hit us both with Triox. That'll give us enough oxygen, and the radiation medication will help.
Okay.
A couple of injections. And Cathix is like, I really just need a second set of hands. I'm not. I haven't been able to even find where the leak is. It's just too much going on at once when all my crew went down.
The shuttle is Copernicus, right?
What's that?
The shuttle is the Copernicus.
Yes.
Are you not hearing me?
Yeah,
Oh, no,
I got you.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, everything went quiet.
Yeah.
So, but
Copernicus.
what he's going to say is, take the shuttle out just a little ways, far enough away that if something horrible happens, you're not going to go with it. But the sensors on the shuttle should detect if the radiation levels start dropping. So, if they start dropping, then yeah, come on back and get us. If they don't, get back to the ship.
Very well. Okay. I'll
All right.
return to the shuttle.
So this has been this radiation leak has been happening for quite some time, and the ship is in really rough shape. I'm gonna actually spend two right here. We'll call this radiation spike. Basically, it's going to increase the difficulty of tasks in the engineering area by 1 for the rest of the scene. All right. You ready to get started?
One question.
Yes.
Would that be stress related or physical?
Probably it'll probably be stress related. Like
Okay.
it's just wearing you all down now, or sorry, it's more like there's more radiation leaking out, right? So
Mhm.
like there's now multiple leaks, or maybe the leak has like turned into a fracture, something like that, to make this a little bit more complicated.
For my assist, what I'm going to do is I have a value. The demeanor is icy as Andoria itself. So he is nonplussed by the situation. And I hate to bring out determination, but that's exactly what I would do.
So let's talk about determination. So first things first, let's just talk about what this is. It's a what we call a gated challenge, which means it's a series of tasks that have to happen in order. In this case, there's 2 tasks. Okay. The first task, and Cathix can either assist or lead. It's up to you. But the first test is simply a difficulty 2 insight plus engineering, which is actually going to be difficulty 3 now because of the complication. To just find where the leak is in the system.
I'm definitely going to have her be the lead on this one. His engineering is terrible and his insight's not much better.
Now, she has been in the lead on this one for quite some time.
But I'm thinking if we do the determination spend, that's 2 successes right there.
And you also can't spend determination if you're assisting.
Point.
So Elle and Lauren, determination is like almost like a third meta currency. You get it once, and you have these values written on your sheet. So if one of these values could be applied to this situation, you can spend that determination. It like pushes you a little bit harder. And one of the things you can do is take one of the dice in your pool that you roll and make it so it automatically rolls a 1, which is pretty awesome. You can also challenge a value. If you are challenging a value, you would erase it from your sheet, and you would get the same benefit. Okay, so like if you're doing something antithesis to what that value would be. So it's a really cool way to have words have a lot more meaning on a piece of paper.
And they're usually things that the character would say in dialogue, or you hear them say, like Spock having the good of the many outweighs the good of the few. That's
I'm gonna guess. I haven't even looked at values, but I'm gonna guess the doctor has something in here about like joy, right? Being happy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, logic should not preclude joy. It's literally the
Yep.
first value.
Yep.
So like just knowing the characters, like like what their values are. So
Mm-hmm.
and those change as you continue to play as well.
Mhm.
So
I think
are you gonna
Ravik's going to lead on this. Yep, and we'll buy a die with threat to get that extra momentum, and one with momentum.
all right.
So
So you have
with the
one
determination spell, that gives me 3.
So that gives you 3 successes.
Mhm.
Okay. Zara Kethix is going to assist.
Right.
Really bad.
Oh my
She's
gosh!
not gonna be any help.
Oh,
But
Um,
you think
a crit and a success.
no. Ooh, nice.
so? A crit and a success in addition to your
Correct.
other 3. So you got
Mhm.
6 altogether. Okay, so you can generate 4 momentum. Go into the pool,
Mhm.
and you believe you have found where the leak is. So, would you like to create a trait that maybe knocks the difficulty down a little bit, that cancels out
Oh,
my
absolutely.
radiation spike? Right?
Yep,
So
absolutely.
one of the things you can do with momentum is by spending 2 momentum, you can create a trait. And you can cancel out traits that I've made, or you can make benefits to yourself. So in doing so, I think it makes sense that you located the thing, and now you're trying to work to fix it. Fixing it, now that it is, you know, your trait in place, is now only going to be difficulty 4, and this is control plus engineering.
Oh boy.
Difficulty 4.
My control is decent. My engineering is awful, but I can still get that extra momentum. Make it a difficulty 3 essentially.
Is that the styrofoam? No, it's the one inside.
You want to do that?
What's the styrofoam is?
Give me 1 threat.
Guys,
So you're gonna get 1. Give me 1 threat to buy a die.
Mhm.
That puts you
Yep.
at 3 dice. You also
okay,
have 3 momentum in the pool. I'm gonna buy 2.
I'll do it. That'll be
You're gonna buy
the second.
full hand. Oh,
Yep.
just a second.
Because
You're rolling 4 dice.
3 momentum would give me 4 dice.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. See if any focuses apply. Because if they do, oh boy. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, the only thing I could think of would be tactical systems or small craft, which I don't think either one of those would work. But that is 1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
And Zara Ethics rolled 1 as well. So that's 5 altogether.
Nice.
You're able
Nice.
to seal off the radiation leak in the ship. And as you do, something strange happens. Between your starship and this Orion ship, a roiling vortex of light starts to form.
Oh.
And this roiling vortex of light kind of consolidates into this anomaly. And both your ships are sucked in.
Phase 2, let's go.
A dazzling artificial wormhole opens at the heart of the construct. Challenger is pulled through. You can't tell if it takes an instant or a day to travel through the wormhole, but you discover a wondrous sight on the other side. You find yourself in another galaxy entirely. Countless colossal machines, like the one you encountered, float in that void, extending far beyond your sensor range. At the heart of this vast constellation of machines is an impossibly gargantuan structure that resembles a double helix. wrapped around a star.
Ooh.
Well, that's an interesting megastructure.
I think interesting may be an understatement.
Wow, okay, so a double helix wrapped around a star, but a whole bunch of these really large structures. That's interesting. But this is open space now.
Yes. You are no longer contained within a structure. Now it is. You see all like structures just like the one that you were taken into, floating all around you, almost like they're in orbit around the star.
Okay.
Structures
It's a
similar
homeworld.
to yeah. Are any of the structures similar to ones that we were just dealing with?
Yeah. So the structures look basically. I mean, there's in order to their appearance that looks very similar to the structure that sucked you guys in.
Okay, so we're in a different galaxy. That much is clear, but we have comms now.
Yes.
I'm probably not the person that would be immediately on the comms, though.
No.
Well, the Commodore
I'm presuming that we made our way to
right.
the bridge.
Like I need a tactical analysis of this stat, or at least gather as much information you can. So we're gonna assume that the doctor and Dr. Boral and um, Hernandez made it back to the ship before it got sucked into the wormhole.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys can be on, your characters can be on the bridge if you'd like.
All right.
Can we put out a?
So how about a scan of the area?
Yes, I was gonna say
See what you can figure out.
life signs, any sort of.
Yeah, you
radio
want to do like a
transmissions.
biological scan?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna have the doctor make a biological scan, which this is reason plus medicine, difficulty 0.
Cool. That is a 4 and a 16, both of which are below my 17. So.
Okay. So you can generate 2 momentum. It's
Cool.
good. Some more momentum in the pool. There is no life signs anywhere around you. With the exception of those on the Orion ship.
Is there any way to check for like synthetic life form?
Well, there would be a couple different ways of doing that. I mean, the way I would think, you would want to look for transmissions either through subspace or regular EM frequencies that resemble neural patterns, because it would be a really complex electronic brain functioning, and that would end up giving off information that we might be able to detect.
Can I recruit our engineer then to help me do that kind of scan? Following the no life signs?
I can allow you to spend 1 momentum to dig a little bit deeper into the
perfect
information to learn.
Okay, let's do that.
Further. So this star that has the double helix structure built around it, it is transmitting to every one of these structures around it in some type of data communication, it's all numeric communication. You know what I mean? Like it is definitely some type of synthetic, maybe organism that is. These things around it might be its appendages, maybe.
Oh, okay. I think Viral kind of step back from this game, like, well, if that thing around the sun is the brain, then everything else here and what we interacted with is part of its body, its nervous system.
Are we its food?
That is an excellent question.
I think that we would be too small for it to be food. It looks like
It also,
hmm,
why test us if all it wanted was food?
mhm.
What does
Exactly.
it want?
I think that the sun at the center of this system is its food. That the central body is acting like a star lifter, taking out material from the star and then building more of these pieces of it.
Still doesn't answer
As
the
you're
question of
having this
why.
discussion, a you see a little disc-shaped object comes like flying past the shuttle, or the ship, and it spins around it, and then um, projected into uh, the bridge of the ship is a hologram uh, of um, let's say Jonathan Archer, and it
Okay.
looks around and it cocks its head and it
And this is
says,
out in space that it's
"No, this
projected.
is on the bridge.
Oh,
The
on the bridge.
hologram
Oh.
is on the bridge." And it says, "Welcome to the domain of the celestial algorithm. You have shown yourselves to be an enlightened people, so the celestial algorithm has brought you here to request your assistance."
What assistance do you require?
And then like it kind of like cocks its head the other direction for a moment. This place did not have the benefit of biological life. There is only the celestial algorithm.
Hmm.
It is the culmination of eons of computation, a reflection of the algorithm that underpins all of existence. The celestial algorithm has sent out countless machines to the multiverse to evaluate and catalog the cosmos. Like you, the celestial algorithm is an explorer and seeks knowledge. However, recently something bizarre happened that did not compute. And then it pauses for a moment, as if it's awaiting to see if you have any further questions.
Hmm. So biological life didn't evolve here.
But somehow a version of synthetic life is present?
Well,
Right.
life is life. It's just how it operates, correct? I mean, it just so happens that most of us are carbon based and operate on the same sugars and proteins. But we do know of energy based life forms that that have evolved in our galaxy, and they would operate much like a computer based or perhaps these people. Um, yeah, it's just that it's life that is different than ours. It's
Anyone else
interesting.
have
I don't.
questions to ask?
I mean, aside from what does it need
Yeah.
our help with? Just waiting for that shoe to drop.
Mhm.
I think Varal would be like, how did you come to be here?
The celestial algorithm has always been here. It is part of this reality. And through millennia and thousands of millennia. The computations have compounded into what we have now. It allows us to explore. However, recently there was a emergent code that appeared in our computation. I do not recognize it, or the celestial algorithm does not recognize this code. It is new. Since then, the algorithm has been unable to erase the code, overwrite the code, delete the code. The code has been contained, yet it still exists.
So it's like a virus, and you've encased it in a cyst.
An apt metaphor.
And you've tested us to make sure that we are capable of understanding it, coming up with a solution, and that we are willing to help
and
others
to
in need.
help the celestial algorithm purge the random code.
Well, this would be an interesting challenge. I would have to think that the computers that you run here to operate your code are much more advanced than our Duotronic core.
You have proven yourself to be insightful and resourceful.
Yes, but we would have to have access to your CPU. Or at least your general storage and your code, so we can
That
understand.
can be arranged.
Well, Commodore, I would love to help them.
Commodore says, new life and new civilizations, right? All right.
Indeed.
And then the hologram says, the coordinates have been programmed into your shuttle. I appreciate your assistance, or the celestial algorithm appreciates your assistance. And then the hologram disappears.
Okay.
Well then.
This is an incredible opportunity to learn something about an alien technology that we've never encountered before. This is exciting.
Indeed.
Quite.
The Commodore says, well, should we all go?
I think we need to bring at least
I'm
all of
not
our...
going to argue with you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We need to bring everybody that we can and that is even partially skilled in computer programming and analysis. Code analysis.
Very well. So you get down to the shuttle, and as you power it up, it's already got its autopilot and flight code in. And it's going to take you on a course to part of that giant double helix structure.
And it's in orbit close to its star.
So it's much larger than the star, going above and below it as well. And you're going to one of the top ends, but it's still pretty darn close. You'll definitely get some gravitational shear and whatnot, or at least you think you would.
Depending on the star, going towards the poles might be fun. But I won't go into those details.
So you basically get to the top part of that helix. A door opens up, and actually, fly the shuttle right in, and the door closes behind you, and within a few moments, your shuttle reports out that there is now breathable atmosphere within the room.
Breathable to whom?
Uh, it was vacuum, and now that it's closed, it has been filled for you all to be able to survive as guests.
It's certainly
Uh,
courteous.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of different computer access terminals. Some really strange stuff that you like can't even imagine. You go near some of the terminals and like the molecules themselves like reach out as if they're waiting for you to touch them. Things like that. And uh, Analyzing this code is challenging, obviously. It is difficulty 5, and it can be either insight plus engineering or insight plus science. You can have multiple people assist, but in this game, each person beyond the first assistant, you either have to spend 1 momentum or add 1 threat in order to assist.
Ooh, okay.
So who's going
Okay.
to take lead on this one?
Yeah, I think it comes back down to either Ben Jaxo or Hernandez. But
So just to walk through this, this would okay. Does computer expertise play into this?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So
So
at least allow you to establish similar patterns or whatnot, even though you don't understand the computing system at all.
right.
it's still based on logic,
Right.
really. And you said insight plus engineering or insight plus science?
Yep.
So for me that would be a 13. I don't know what other people are working
So
with.
I actually, that would, if insights of science, that's 14 for me, and I do have a focus in computers.
Okay. That's an interesting. And see, I would have the exact same thing. Insight plus
Mhm.
engineering would be 14 with a focus on science. I mean on computers, excuse me.
Okay.
Boy.
Do you have any talents that would factor into this? Because I know I don't.
Weak
Unless I
spot.
can try to mind meld with this, which I don't think that's gonna work.
Work with V'ger.
True.
I have one that sort of applies, but not really. It would be like only allowing me to ask questions, and that's incisive scrutiny, because it's finding weak spots in arguments, theories, and machines alike to glean information from them. But it's only allowing me to ask questions as if I had spent momentum on obtain information. So it doesn't really help. But yeah, let's be fair. There is the very good suggestion that popped up in chat that might apply here with Dr. Varel, and that's the mind meld.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Reading all of the.
Because if they're an intelligent machine, they have a mind to meld with.
And maybe it's biological needing to interface with it that will give it the capability of getting rid of this virus. It doesn't have an immune
Potentially.
system like a biological would.
Yeah. Where it's white blood cells. Anyway.
That's an
What does
interesting
mind
take
meld
on it,
say?
yeah. Huh.
Why don't you read mind meld to us, Doctor?
Okay, so it says Viral has undergone training in telepathic techniques that allow the melding of minds through physical contact. This always requires a task, normally control plus science, with a difficulty of at least 1, which can be opposed by an unwilling participant. If successful, she links minds with the participant, sharing thoughts and memories. Momentum may be spent to gain more information or perform deeper telepathic exchanges.
Okay.
I could read the rest of it. That was like the end of the effect.
That's interesting. I mean, I can see it being used as Dr. Varel melding with it, and then if there is enough momentum generated to perhaps make an advantage
Mm-hmm.
with it to help everyone else end up doing the task, maybe make it a little easier. I could see that. That could be a good use for it.
Yeah, I mean, be willing to try, definitely. I think
All right.
it's advanced enough that maybe it could. If I'm in there, I can find out where in its code. If we're going to continue to make biological metaphors, where in its body the virus is, and point you in the right direction.
All right. So you're gonna do it?
Let's do it. Let's mind meld with the computer. Nothing will go wrong.
Because you also have a
That's
couple
it.
focuses that might apply to
Yep.
that mind meld.
That's true. Yeah, computers. I guess yeah. If I don't know if genetics or infectious disease would go into this. But
Psychiatry as well.
true.
All right. Why don't you give me an insight plus science? We'll call it. Wait, you only have to roll if it's resisting you, right?
No, it says this always requires a task.
Yeah. It can be opposed by an unwilling proponent or
So
participant.
all right. So we're gonna say that this is an insight plus. You know what? Because you are communicating with a computer life form, you suspect. Let's do insight plus engineering.
Oh.
I mean, sorry, insight plus science.
Okay, that's a lot better. I was supposed to be like, oh. All right, let's do this. So that puts me at a 14. Oh no.
Oh.
Again, this would be a great roll. D&D. That's not where we are, though. That is a 16 and an 18, so both fail.
All right. So you're gonna we're gonna let you succeed at a cost here. And we'll talk about the
Ooh,
cost
okay.
after.
All right.
Because once you get in there and you start mind melding, you do see like the birth of a quantum reality, essentially. And you see like eventually this machine starts showing up and assembling itself, and it actually created the sun that it is in orbit around.
Jesus. All right.
And started sending its explorers off, and you do get like emotions along with that as well, like excitement and whatnot. However, as you are trying to learn more about this emergent code, it too has a consciousness.
Mm.
Oh boy.
And once you have both consciousnesses in your brain, you are flung back from the wall, and you are gonna suffer a loss of 3 stress.
Ooh. Okay.
Ow.
Youch.
And that
Actually, the
presents-
way it works in this game is you're gonna suffer an injury unless you spend 3 stress.
Okay. Would I be able to like heal myself?
Physician, heal thyself.
Eventually.
Yeah. Ooh.
Stress works a
Yeah.
lot differently than hit points in D&D.
Mhm. Yes.
But
Mhm.
yeah, so we'll just keep track of those 3 right now. I'm not sure it's going to come into play.
Cool. Yeah, I'll take the
have been
3
purchased. Ooh.
I saw that right after I failed. Yeah, so I'll take the 3 stress, and not take the injury.
Okay. And what are you going to tell your partners in crime here?
Yeah, I guess after ragdolling across the room, and then she just kind of like picks herself up, brushes off her uniform. It's like, well, we were correct in our thought that this is some sort of artificial being. There is a consciousness there. how that will affect our task. I am unsure. I was not able to glean much information.
Well, that raises an ethical dilemma.
How so?
Can't remove them.
Well, we can
So I
remove the
think it's time for
virus.
diplomacy.
I'm unsure whether that consciousness was the virus. It might have just been the consciousness of the celestial algorithm.
Consciousness.
You definitely got the
consciousness
celestial
virus.
algorithm had a consciousness, but then the quarantine code that it's asking you to remove and delete has a consciousness as well.
Never mind. Take that last one back. Yeah. It's like, if we can get in contact with whatever this being is, then could be worth a shot.
Did we establish what this virus, the quarantine portion, wants?
We could try.
I mean, we were
I
brought
would
here
say-
to fix the problem, but we don't know.
Doctor, your sense, because we've been doing a lot of these biological analogs that you've been saying all the way through, is this emergent code was essentially the algorithm giving birth.
Mm-hmm.
I think for all things
It's
of like all the
another
patients she's had that
understanding.
are referred to their children like when they're pregnant as parasites, and is like, ah, I see.
So, hypothetically, working off what we've been tested on before, we're on the space whales and the baby. Both are sick. Should we be trying to heal both of them then? If that's what the initial test was, is that possible?
Potentially. I'm curious as to whether, if the metaphor here is a child, whether the celestial algorithm is able to excise it,
Maybe it needs
not
to create
destroy
its
it,
own sun.
but
Basically, we'd be midwifing it.
exactly.
But
And then see if it's viable outside.
the parent also needs to allow it to exist and to flourish on
Yes.
its own.
This is true.
Maybe it just. I mean, obviously, we're working with something highly advanced, but it's not biological. It's not a biological life form as we understand it, so maybe it doesn't understand reproduction as we do. And if we can explain that,
Mm-hmm.
we might be able to solve our issue.
Exactly, if this has never occurred before, it wouldn't know what to do.
So
Mhm.
you want to try to explain to this being the lessons of the birds and the bees.
I think we're past that point. I think it's more explaining that it
This
does
is
not
now.
need to destroy or get rid of this. It needs to separate itself from it and nurture it.
Maybe even that it's no longer alone.
Wait a minute.
That as well.
The medical computer would have information on gestation, that kind of thing. If we can give that information to the algorithm, that would allow it to understand what's happening.
Potentially, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we link it to our data computer, to the
Mhm.
library computer on board Challenger. Let's set up a one-way data link.
So I'm hearing a lot of really cool ideas. I need these ideas put in order as to the way you wish to execute them. Not execute, to do them, and hear what the overall plan is. So that's what your next discussion should involve: is what order do things need to go in?
Hey, I'm just the engineer. You tell me what you need to have done.
I feel like maybe if we can establish communication with the celestial algorithm, explain to
Mhm.
it what is going on, then provide it the information so to further its understanding. And then if this is a living being that we're dealing with, information will not be enough. It will need someone to guide it, hold its hand, especially as a first-time mother or parent. Computers don't exactly have a gender, but the point still stands.
So calling the celestial algorithm to communicate, loading in the data, and then what?
Answering
Playing,
questions.
just playing doula to a computer.
Okay. Well, we would have to wait for a response.
Mhm.
You know, what does the algorithm want to do now that it has the information and the data that it needs to understand what's happening?
Because I don't think it would be in our best interests as Starfleet to just say, "Oh yeah, we're just going to take out the code.
Yeah.
Have a nice day."
I don't-
And then, yeah.
I do believe we have to treat this as a living entity. Now we have two,
Mhm.
and I think our job is first to explain what's going on to this entity, and then hopefully try and bring it to mediation and help it understand our viewpoint.
Mhm.
Preserve life if at all possible.
I'm on
Who's
board.
going to take the lead on the communicating?
Who has diplomacy?
I got psychiatry. I was
have
trying to angle for that, but
sociology and galactic politics.
I actually think that might be worth it, like psychiatry and philosophy, because you're
Mhm.
speaking on like
Mhm.
the idea of not being alone
yeah.
and meaning.
Mhm.
Dr.
Is
Varel
anybody
might
going
be
to
the best.
assist? Or are we going to go it alone, Doctor?
I would appreciate
okay.
this.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, faith of the heart, humans seem to have an irrepressible desire to explore both the mysteries of the universe and the depths of their own nature. When Hernandez uses one of her values to spend or gain determination, she may also add +1 momentum to the group pool. One of my values is that life can flourish anywhere.
Oh.
How can I help?
No, if
Let's
you
do
would
this.
like to use that value to gain extra dice, you would actually need to lead on the task. But what that would do is you could essentially take a dice in your pool and it automatically rolls a 1. And then you just have to roll the other dice. But you would have to take the lead in that case. And you wouldn't have the increased crit range that the doctor would have.
Ooh.
And we can't make this a plant metaphor so that botany works.
Unfortunately, no.
we have full committed to the body analogy, it seems.
I see. Okay. What about sociology?
Not really, because this thing is the only thing that exists in this quantum reality. It doesn't know how to be social.
So I take it that also takes out galactic politics because there's nothing here to be
Unfortunately.
political with. Okay.
I have the value, my highest calling is a healer. Would that potentially apply?
You do have so yeah, I would say that this might be like a healing of the mind type of parallel, possibly.
Okay.
Hmm.
You said this thing has emotions, right?
It does have rudimentary emotions, yes. Or she felt
Okay.
rudimentary emotions
Right.
when she was mind melded.
Okay. Because the commander, believe it or not, actually has a pastime poetry. And poetry can be used to appeal to emotion. If we add that with, the logical explanation of what's happening and convey, the wonder of new life, the joy of being with another person, not being alone.
So
There's
what
a
I'm
lot we
thinking
can
is
do.
going to happen here is there's going to end up needing to be two different tasks, right? The first is
Mhm.
communicating what the problem is, right? And then the second is going to be trying to convince this thing that you need to save what is happening.
Mhm.
So I think that the first task is definitely going to be more up the doctor's aisle. And the second task might be more up the scientist's aisle. Let's see how it goes. Let's see what happens. All right. So you're going to call the celestial algorithm after we open a data link, you said, Aaron?
Yeah, we can link the main computer on Challenger
Okay.
into this. They're just going to have to deal with the load bandwidth. Sorry, 23rd century Duotronics might not be as advanced as you.
Right.
Just for
So,
oh, sorry.
well, I was going to say, so you're in this room, where the computers were, and are you just calling out? What are you planning on doing here?
Don't forget, we have a reroll.
That's true.
See how bad it gets first.
Because I'm debating mind meld because I feel like that's a guarantee to like, get in contact with it. But would like to not get flung across the room again.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I mean, it did come to you as in the form of a hologram, so it apparently has that type of capability.
that's true. I think maybe make an attempt to call out to it, just to see if it'll appear to us, and if that doesn't work, maybe go for the mind meld.
All right. So the algorithm shows up
Hey, there you go.
in the form of Jonathan Archer again, and says to you, so did you find a way to purge the code?
We have an idea, but it will require some explanation. If you wouldn't mind, we would like to hook our computers up to you to impart this information the easiest way possible.
Rocks his head again. This should not be an issue. The algorithm can just take whatever you have stored and add it to our processing.
Excellent. Well, I think turn to I don't know if we've got the computer set up yet, or
Are you specifically just doing the birthing stuff, like the having a child stuff? Or are you doing everything?
I think it would like narrow it down to like the idea of like having children and like parenting, not just the entire ship's computers.
Right.
But
So,
Also,
Oh,
like
yeah, go ahead.
interpersonal.
biological experience,
Yeah. True.
is basically beginning to emulate biological
Mm-hmm.
function. So, I mean, if it can absorb the entire computer, let it, because
That's
it's
true,
going to
actually.
see a myriad of different species and how they deal with their own individual biology.
Fair.
Yeah.
so
you're
let's.
right.
So this is. So let's just make sure that the thing understands what you're trying to convey.
Mm-hmm.
All
I
right.
don't.
All right. I think if there's like more of an explanation, I think. Sorry, I think someone was about to say something.
I was just gonna say, I think maybe we should, before we just give it a bunch of information and say, hey, figure it out,
Yeah.
we should try and give a verbal account of what we believe is going on, and then give it the information so that it has at least two sources to kind of parse through. We can explain it, and then we can explain what we think is going on, and then the computer can take our data and see if it comes to the same conclusion.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So this is going to be an opposed task, because this thing needs to try to understand, wrap its head around this whole idea that you are presenting to it, that it has had a child, essentially. And so this thing is going to be proactively trying to analyze this appropriately. So you all are going to set the difficulty here, and it is going to be, let's call it presence plus engineering.
Ooh, and I'm heading this one?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Okay. Presence and engineering, and then do I have an assist from anybody?
So you've got 3 momentum.
Okay.
You can have 1 assist for free.
Okay.
So I don't know if somebody's gonna assist with that, like trying to communicate this information.
I'm going to float a possibility.
Okay.
The con department is, in dealing with relationships, law, that kind of thing. I'm wondering if I'm using that poetry time, if I can assist using presence and con, because I'm trying to communicate effectively.
Hmm.
I'll allow it. So, so do you want to buy any dice?
So I've got 3. I might buy 1 just because my presence and engineering, that puts me to an 11, so that's kind of
Okay.
gambling with. And then
And in order for the assist to be able to roll, you have to get at least 1 success in your pool. So, and
Okay.
you do have that re-roll. Don't forget about that.
excellent. And then I've got the philosophy and psychiatry focuses. We had talked about that factoring into this too, correct?
Absolutely.
So that brings the up to the 5 for the crit range. And then do my values factor into this at all? Because we also talked about the highest calling is a healer. I don't know how that would affect this.
Well, this is only difficulty 2, so you could spend it and turn one of your dice to a 1. No,
Okay.
this is an opposed roll. So, you could use it, but you're really just setting the difficulty for me.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's necessary.
I will leave it then. So I've got 4 dice that I'm rolling. Let's go. Okay. That's 2 successes and 2 failures.
Okay. So Troy, you get your roll.
1 success, exactly.
Nice.
3 successes total. And the algorithm understands what you're saying. And Jonathan Archer's hologram is like, the algorithm does not account for reproduction.
It wouldn't. It's logical, but it's not.
Will you excise the code?
Yes. But then it'll be up to you for what happens to it next.
Can you remove it without damaging it?
We can try.
And you prepare a system for it to exist in, separate from you.
Like an incubator.
As you say that, you see the big giant machine that you were pulled into pulls down in front of where you are all stationed. yes, the new code can be housed here.
Okay.
All
We might
right.
not know how to exactly get it over there, but we'll figure out a way to do it.
We can work on that together. And like it starts like creating this like umbilical of like wires and cords and whatnot starts growing out of the side of this double helix, and it attaches itself into the big giant uh, structure that you were in. And it said, okay. I partitioned, oh, sorry, the algorithm partitioned the anomaly and protected it with a firewall that the algorithm cannot take down. You will need to do it.
Okay. That's probably Venjaxa.
I'm gonna spend my last 2 threat to increase the difficulty of this task by 1, bringing it up to difficulty 5.
Okay. Well, all right. So we're going to do.
Again, you can have an assist.
Mhm.
You can have multiple assists. However, each assist beyond the first requires momentum or threat to be spent.
And how many momentum do we have?
Currently, you have 2 momentum in the pool, and I have 0 threat.
And we have a reroll.
And
you have a reroll.
Okay, so what I'd probably want to do is try to use one of my values to use determination. And this is a big issue. We've never encountered this before. I'm thinking the value, if there's no solution to your problem, invent one. So it's probably trying to invent a way to punch through an alien piece of firewall code using primitive duotronic computer systems, which it probably never has encountered before, and that's what makes it easier to do. But using that to get my 2 to one of my dice to roll it as a 1, buying 1 dice for 1 momentum, so that's 3 dice, getting an assist, which would be free. The first assist is free, and then we're going to have to spend 1 momentum on a second assist.
So we're essentially giving it a C-section.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of the logistics behind like which character is doing what.
Oh.
I can roll 3 dice. Well, I'm rolling 2 dice, and then I automatically get 2 successes beyond that if Al thinks that value is worth doing. Okay. And then I have a focus of computers. Is it a what's the skill? What's the task?
Let's call this. Can't really be insight because you are not familiar with the system at all, right? So it has to be reason trying to push your way through.
Okay.
Or daring.
So reason plus engineering.
Okay. That would be a 16.
Nice.
I would also allow, the doctor could probably assist with reason plus medicine.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, so I already have 2 successes. I'm rolling 2 dice at a 16, 19 complication, 5 crit. I have 1 crit, 1 success, so that's 5 successes.
There's 5 right there. Doctor, do you want to add on?
Sure, why not? Because it's reason, medicine, and then I could apply my focuses to this as well to up the crit chance.
Yep.
Let's go. That is one. If it is at a 17, is that a success or failure?
if you have to meet or roll below. So 17
Okay.
would be a success for you.
Then that is 2 successes.
Yep. So you get six successes, which is enough to get this stray code transferred through the umbilical into the structure that you were housed in not too long ago. And as you do that, the celestial algorithm shows up again in Jonathan Archer form and looks back at you and gives you each a nod and then disappears. And that anomaly opens up out in space again.
Mm.
Back to the ship.
Seems
Rather
our
not
job
be
here
stuck
is
in a
done.
different quantum reality. Yeah.
And the Commodore says, well, not even so much as a thank you.
To be
As
fair,
long
if
as
I
that
was
leads home, I'll take it.
to be fair, if I was randomly given a child by 5 strangers, I don't think I would be particularly grateful. Impressed, but not grateful.
It might just be a little overwhelmed.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
So she looks over at the helm and says, set a course to the anomaly, and maybe someday again we will get a chance to see the celestial algorithm squared. And you punch it. And yeah, and that is the end
Zoom.
of the celestial algorithm.
Woo.
Yay! Roll
Done.
credits.
Nicely done.
Oh, that's a great episode. I love that.
That was really
Really.
Written by Fred Love, who has done several different
Mm.
modules for Star Trek Adventures. He did a nice job with this to really show out of how to just use basic tasks. And
Mhm.
so, that is the first layer of the game. Then there becomes more advanced mechanics, as you saw when we added determination and things like that as well. So yeah, that was awesome, chat. We didn't even need the
Oh,
free
yeah.
reroll at the end. That's the
I
part
know.
that's it's unfortunate, but yeah. So anyway, so again, we're gonna pass this off to Jeremy in just a moment. However, we do want to say our goodbyes, and I would like to give everybody a chance again to say who you are, share your socials, and if you have any other exciting stuff that you want to say, or any upcoming news and notes for your creative side that you would like to share with the public, now's the time to do it. So, Troy, go ahead and say your goodbyes.
Okay. I am Troy. I am a writer for Modifius Star Trek Adventures. Look out my name on Star Trek Adventures, see what you'd like about the stuff that I've written, and peace and long life.
Excellent. Elle, in addition to sharing, who you are and what you do, can you also just maybe say something that you thought was really interesting about the game that you enjoyed? Something that kind of was it everything that you'd hoped for, et cetera, et cetera. How about that?
Do you want specifics on the system or the story?
Just in general, maybe one little insight to each. How are you feeling right now about Star Trek Adventures?
Really
And
good.
this-
I really enjoyed that. I liked how malleable it was to what situations we were in and how there was always multiple kind of ways to figure out what or how best to tackle a situation. I did really like story-wise kind of the mirroring of what we did earlier with ways to kind of think about the later tasks at hand. I thought that was really cool and really smart. And putting those two together was super fun. And then yeah, so I guess those are my feelings. I had a great time. Thank you for having me. Again, my name is Elle. You can find me on Instagram at little_witch.cosplay. Yeah, I don't have anything too creative coming up. I really just am making outfits and taking pictures. So I'm over there. But
Awesome.
thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining up. I'm excited to get a chance to play. Aaron.
I'm Aaron Pollier. Just check out Star Trek Adventures. It's like my one big passion that I've been working on for many years now, and it's always great to have people check it out, and I get to see what they're doing with some of the stuff that I've written, and that always really makes me happy. So,
Yep. Awesome. Thank you, Aaron, for playing tonight. It's great. Lauren.
Yeah.
How about again, make sure you share your information and but also what did you get out of tonight's game, and what did you think was kind of cool?
Yeah, no, I mean, in general, very fun. I like the system you have for setting the DCs with the different blanking on the name right now because I already took my character sheet down, but having the changeable DC is fun.
Yeah.
I'm also a big fan of systems that incorporate like mechanics for teamwork. As a longtime D&D player, I think that's one of its like biggest like things that it's lacking. So that was really fun. But as for myself, yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Lawrence_open world. I also do cosplay, and actually, starting in June, I'm going to be opening up a handful of commission slots for custom original series uniforms. So keep an eye on my Instagram for that. Yeah, we've got a spot claimed already. There'll only be a couple of spots if you don't get a slot. However, I will put you on the waiting list for the next time I open it up. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for playing tonight, Lauren. That was great.
Yeah, of course.
And again, I'm GM_Admiral on basically every social media. And then keep tuned to this channel. And at some point, we will be hopefully starting up season 2 of Star Trek Forefront, where we will use the full rules for Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition. And I can't say thank you enough to everyone who made donations tonight to help us out. It was awesome. Very, very real and important thing that we need to be paying more attention to as far as mental health in general. And Jeremy, I can't appreciate you enough for putting this together and having a really good charity that's going to that's really helping people find someone to talk to, or even strategies and things like that that they can use. So Jeremy, that was awesome. I appreciate you having me, and I hope you all had a blast.
Yay!
See you later.
There we go.
Well, Al, thank you so much for coming on and running the game tonight. I appreciate it. It was a ton of fun to watch. I am looking forward to Forefront returning, hopefully in the near future. Thank you, everyone who watched tonight and who donated. Definitely appreciate it. Come back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. as we're going to play some Good Soup. I am excited to try that out. It is a GM-less, not diceless, but GM-less cooperative storytelling RPG together. It's recommended you have soup. We are not going to have soup. We're going to have dice. I actually will not eat soup on stream. I don't want to subject you to that. Thank you, everybody, for watching tonight. We're going to raid, so please hang out as we head out, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Bye.